Now, there were a lot of brands that tried Amazon DSP in pre-2023 and they saw the dashboard claim thousands of attributed sales, but when they paused the campaigns and sales stayed exactly the same, they called it. DSP was just taking credit for sales that would have happened organically anyway. Double attribution, phantom conversions, a waste of budget. We heard this from dozens of brands between 2019 and mid-2024. They'd run DSP for 60 days to 90 days. They see inflated ROAS numbers. They paused everything and watched nothing change. The attribution was lying. But something fundamental changed in 2025 and early 2026. Amazon rebuilt the entire attribution framework from the ground up, and the double counting problem is actually solved now. I'm going to show you in this video exactly what was broken, what they fixed, and the proof that DSP now tracks real incremental lift instead of just crediting itself for everything. Because if you quit DSP in 2023 or 2024, the reason you quit doesn't exist anymore. So let's go to the first section, why sellers abandon DSP. Here's the story we heard over and over in the past. Brands spend 10K plus a month on DSP over 2 months. Dashboard shows 40K in attributed sales, which looks amazing, 4x ROAS. But then they pause DSP completely for 30 days and the total sales stay the same. DSP was crediting itself for conversions that would have happened anyway, organic searches, repeat customers, people who were already going to buy. Now, this happened because of how attribution worked back then. Amazon used a last touch model with short look back windows, usually 7 to 14 days for clicks, maybe 28 for views. If someone saw a DSP ad on Monday and they ignored it, then they searched for your brand on Friday and bought organically, DSP got full credit for that sale, even though the person was already aware of you, even though they searched your brand name directly, and even though the DSP ad didn't actually influence the decision. Same thing with repeat customers. Someone bought from you 3 months ago, they see a DSP retargeting ad. 2 days later, they come back through organic search and repurchase. DSP again credits itself for the entire sale. The problem wasn't that DSP didn't work. The problem was the attribution model couldn't tell the difference between DSP drove this sale and this person was going to buy anyway and DSP happened to show them the ad first. So brands would see inflated numbers. They would get excited, they'll scale spend, and then realize nothing was actually incremental. When they turned DSP off, sales didn't drop. When they turned it back on, sales didn't rise. It was just taking credit. Now, one brand we talked to in mid-2023 spent 25K on DSP over 3 months. Dashboard claimed 120,000 in attributed revenue. They paused it in month 4. Revenue that month, 41,000. Exactly the same as the previous 3 months. DSP wasn't driving 40K per month. It was crediting itself for 40K that was happening organically. That's why people quit. Now, let's actually diagnose the specific problem. We're going into section 2 now, which is last click bias and phantom conversion. Last touch attribution makes sense for bottom of the funnel tactics like sponsored products. If someone searches protein powder and clicks on your ad and buys immediately, that ad drove the sale. But DSP is top and mid funnel. It's awareness, it's consideration, it's retargeting people who aren't ready to buy yet. Last touch doesn't work for that. Now, the old model gave DSP full credit for any sales that happened after someone saw or clicked a DSP ad, even if the ad had zero influence on the actual purchase decision. Now, here's how phantom conversions happen. Someone watches a streaming TV ad on Fire TV for your product. They don't click anything, it's a video ad. So 3 weeks later, they're shopping on Amazon and they search a generic category keyword and they see your listing in organic results and buy. Old DSP attribution said that person saw that 21 days ago, therefore we drove this sale, and it counted the full order value as DSP attributed revenue. But did the ad actually drive the sale? Maybe, or maybe they were already in the market. They saw 5 other brands and yours just happened to rank well organically. The attribution model had no way to know. This got worse. With retargeting, if you retargeted everyone who ever visited your listing, then of course some of them would buy eventually. They were already interested, but DSP took credit for 100% of those conversions, even though most would have happened without the retargeting ad. Now, industry estimates from 2024 suggested 20 to 40% of DSP attributed sales were non-incremental, meaning if you turn DSP off, 20 to 40% of those credited sales would still happen organically. On forums and LinkedIn in 2024, sellers were posting screenshots of attributed paths showing 600K plus in sales where DSP was the only paid touch point. But when they ran holdout tests showing ads to one group and suppressing them from another, the difference was way smaller than the dashboard claimed. That's the halo effect. DSP gets credit for being in the room, not for actually driving the outcome. So now let's actually look at what changed in section 3. So Amazon knew this was a problem. Brands were abandoning DSP because the attribution couldn't prove incrementality. So in 2025 and early 2026, they rebuilt the entire framework. Not a tweak, it was a full change. These major upgrades: multi-touch attribution of AI modeling, extended look-back windows up to 5 years, and randomized controlled trials to prove incremental lift. So the first upgrade, multi-touch attribution, which launched at Accelerate 2025. Instead of giving DSP full credit for last interaction, the new model distributes credit across every touch point in the customer journey. So if someone saw a DSP ad and they clicked a sponsored product ad, then came back through organic search and bought, DSP gets partial credit. Sponsored product gets partial credit and organic gets partial credit. The system uses machine learning to weigh each touch point based on how much it actually influenced the sale. This instantly kills phantom conversions because DSP can't take 100% credit anymore. It only gets credit if it actually contributes to the journey. So the second upgrade, it extended the look back window. Amazon Marketing Cloud now supports up to 5 years of data for long purchase cycles. Now, for consumables and replenishment products, you can track 25 months of ad traffic to see year-over-year patterns. This matters because you can now prove whether DSP drove a new customer or just intercepted someone who was already about to buy. Now, if someone's first interaction of your brand was a DSP ad and they converted 90 days later, that's a real top of funnel value. If they've already bought from you 5 times and DSP retargeted them, that's different, and the new model accounts for that. Now, the third upgrade, AI-driven incremental testing. AMC now has custom machine learning models that runs propensity scoring and churn predictions. You can build audiences of high likelihood to convert and low likelihood to convert. Then you can see if DSP moved the needle differently for each group. More importantly, you can run randomized controlled trials. You can show DSP ads to group A and suppress them from group B, and then you can measure the difference. That's not attribution modeling, that's actual proof of lift. Brands using the multi-touch attribution framework are reporting 30 to 40% efficiency gains because they're no longer wasting budget on non-incremental impressions. They can see which DSP tactics actually drive new customers versus which ones just retarget people already in the funnel. One case study from late 2025, H&R Block ran a new attribution model and they saw a 144% conversion lift on campaigns where DSP was genuinely introducing new customers. But campaigns where retargeting existing customers showed way lower incremental lift, so they reallocated the budget. That's the difference. The old model would have credited both equally. The new model, on the other hand, shows you where the real lift is. Okay, now let's dive into how this new system proves incremental lift. So the old question asked was, did DSP drive the sale or would it have happened anyway? Now, the old attribution model couldn't answer that. It just counted everything. The new system answers this directly with holdout tests and incrementality scoring. Instead of crediting DSP for every sale after an impression, the new framework compares what happened with DSP on versus DSP off and only credits the difference. Here's how incrementality testing works now. You create 2 matched audiences in AMC, similar demographics, similar purchase history, similar behavior. Group A sees DSP ads and Group B doesn't. After 30 or 60 days, you measure the conversion rate difference. If Group A converts at 8% and Group B converts at 5%, DSP incremental lift is 3 percentage points. The system can also track this over time. Now, if you suppress DSP for a controlled group for 90 days and their purchase rate stays flat while exposed groups rate climbs, you've proven a long-term brand building impact, not just last click conversions. This is fundamentally different from the old model. The old model said something saw an ad and bought, therefore the ad worked. The new model says people who saw the ad bought at a higher rate than people who didn't, therefore the ad worked. And because AMC now has 5-year lookbacks, you can now prove whether DSP is driving new to brand customers or just accelerating repeat purchases. If someone's first ever interaction with you was a DSP ad and they converted 120 days later, that's top of funnel value you can quantify. A pet supplement brand run this test in Q4 2025. They split their target audience. Half saw DSP ads, half didn't. After 60 days, the exposed group had 22% higher new to brand conversion rate and 18% higher repeat purchase rate. Total incremental revenue from DSP was $47,000 over 2 months on a $12 spend. That's real 4x ROAS, not inflated and not phantom conversions. Proven with controlled groups. When they paused DSP in month 3, the controlled groups metric stayed flat, but the previously exposed conversion rate dropped back towards baseline. That's proof that ads were actually driving behavior and not just taking credit for it. Now, let's dig even deeper and go into the real proof. So brand testing pause versus what ran. So pre-2023, when brands paused DSP, nothing happened. Sales stayed the same. That was the smoking gun. The attribution was broken. In 2026, on the other hand, when brands paused DSP under the new attribution model, you can actually see the drop because the system is only crediting real incremental lift now. The new framework passes the pause test. Turn it off, incremental sales drop. Turn it on, incremental sales rise. Here's a case study from a brand that quit DSP in early 23 and came back in late 2025 after the attribution rebuild. First time round 2023, they spent $15K over 2 months. Dashboard showed 65,000 attributed and they paused it. Sales stayed at 32,000 per month, same as before. Conclusion, DSP was BS. Second time, late 2025, they came back with the new multi-touch attribution and incrementality testing enabled with Amazon Marketing Cloud. They spent $18K over 3 months. Dashboard showed 52,000 attributed, lower numbers than before, but more honest. And then they ran a holdout test. They suppressed DSP for 30% of their target audience. They measured the difference. Exposed groups had an 11% conversion rate, suppressed groups had an 8.5% conversion rate. The difference, 2.5 percentage points. Applied to total audience size, that translates to $13,000 in incremental monthly revenue directly caused by DSP. When they paused DSP in month 4, the exposed group's conversion rate dropped 2 points over 30 days. The suppressed group stayed flat. That's proof. Another example, a kitchen gadget brand ran a DSP in 2023. They saw no lift when paused, so they quit. They came back in Q4 2025 with the new system. This time they used AMC's custom models to score propensity to convert. Found that DSP was driving 18% of lift among low propensity shoppers. People who weren't already planning to buy, but only a 3% lift among higher propensity shoppers who were probably going to convert anyway. Old attribution wouldn't have credited both groups equally. New attribution let them reallocate the budget away from retargeting higher propensity audiences and focus on cold traffic. Efficiency improved 35%. And when they paused DSP, they saw an actual measurable drop in new to brand conversions. That's the difference. The system now proves incrementality instead of just claiming it. So let's now look at why DSP is worth reconsidering now. If you tried DSP pre-2023 and abandoned it because the attribution was lying, that's a completely rational decision. But if you're avoiding DSP in 2026 because of what happened in 2023, you're avoiding a problem that does not exist anymore. The attribution issues that made you quit have been solved. Multi-touch modeling, AI incrementality testing, and extended lookbacks now prove real lift. Now here's what's different now. You you can run a 60-day test with a controlled group built in from day one. You'll know within 60 days whether DSP is driving incremental sales or just taking credit for organic traffic. If it's not incremental, you'll see it in the data. The exposed group and the control group will perform the same. You'll pause, you'll lose nothing, and then you can move on. If it is incremental, you'll see a gap. Exposed group converts higher, control group stays flat, you'll scale what works and you'll suppress what doesn't. And because the new attribution framework ties into AMC, you can see the full customer journey. You can track whether DSP is bringing new customers or just accelerating repurchases. You can see which creatives, which audiences, which placements actually move the needle versus which ones are showing impressions to people already in your funnel. The brands coming back to DSP in late 2025 and 2026 aren't doing it blindly. They're doing it with proof. Industry data from late 2025 shows brands using the new attribution framework are seeing a 30 to 40% efficiency gain, 144% conversion lifts in some verticals, and 35% cost per acquisition reductions, all measured against controlled groups, not just claimed by the dashboard. Amazon's DSP ad revenue jumped 24% year over year in 2025. That's not happening because brands are gullible. It's happening because attribution finally works. If you're spending 6 figures a month on sponsored products and sponsored brands, but you're not using DSP because of what happened in 2023, you're leaving incremental growth on the table based on outdated information. The system that broke your trust got rebuilt, the double attributed problem got solved, and the proof is in holdout tests, not just dashboards. Amazon DSP didn't work pre-2023 because attribution was broken. It credited itself for sales that would have happened anyway. And because you paused it, nothing changed. But attribution isn't a static thing. It got rebuilt. Multi-touch modeling, AI incremental testing, 5-year look-back randomized control trials. These aren't just tweaks. They're a different system. And if you're making decisions about DSP in 2026 based on what happened in 2023, you're optimizing for a problem that does not exist anymore. The question isn't, does DSP take credit for organic sales? That's solved. The question now is, does DSP drive incremental lift for your specific audience? And if you can prove that in 60 days with a controlled group, so if you're reconsidering DSP now, the attribution is fixed, the next question is how to actually use it. DSP isn't just about retargeting ads. Big brands use it surgically to own the buyer journey, suppress recent purchases to save 10 to 15% of budget, and time repurchase windows down to the day. Now, I've just posted a breakdown of the 6 PPC strategies that separate brands spending $100K plus a month from anyone else, and DSP is just one of them. Now, the other 5 cover search term isolation, day parting, defensive moats, AMC prediction, and SQP gap filling. These aren't theories. These are exact plays running in 6-figure accounts right now. If you're ready to use DSP the way advanced brands do, not the way beginners fumble through it, that video walks you through the entire framework. So the link to that video is somewhere here. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.